What's good? What is good, YouTube? Um, I'm coming to y'all today with something new. I'm gonna review this TV show called Cherish today that airs on the OWN network. I'm here to bring you guys season 2. The very first season of this show I watched when it first premiered and aired. Um, this TV series is about one of my favorite subjects. I think I've told you guys that I am a hopeless romantic, and any stories, movies, or whatever about love, I always want to watch. So this show is basically an anthology type of series where each season will focus on um, the love of a different set of people. I'm not sure if it's going to be romantic love each time that they do this, um, but it is about love, and it's a really good show. The first season, I think, the first season focused on a couple. Um, I can't even think of his name right now, but the main character was played by the actress Zosha. I think her name is Zosha Rockmore. She's played in a lot of things. She's most famous right now for she she dated and had a child with Lakeith Stanfield. You know, that plays on Atlanta. He played in Jesus and the Black Messiah. Um what's that movie called, Jesus and the Black? It was the movie about Fred Hammond, where to me, I mean, they gave all praises to Lakeith for that character, and I don't think it was an easy character to play. But he also, I feel like Daniel Kaluuya, his portrayal of Fred Hammond was top notch. I mean, even down to the tone and diction and the cadence with which he spoke, and he did it to emulate the real life Fred. Did I say Fred Hammond? That man is not named Fred Hammond. His name is Fred Hampton. He was in the Black Panther Party trying to unite all the poor people, not just black people and everything. And the government, they saw that he was real powerful because, like I said, he wasn't only uniting blacks to fight back against the system, but he was uniting all working class and poor people, people that were, marginalized and stuff like that. And the government had him killed. Not, I mean, they actually killed him while he lay in bed sleeping, and they killed him. It was either the night of or the night before his 21st birthday. He had so much charisma and so much smarts. They saw a threat in that. But anyway, back to this. So the first season of Cherish today, like I was saying, Zosha Rockmore played the main character, and the guy, I think his name Delano Miller, he's an actor that he played the slave. What's his name? Caden. His name was K something on the TV show Underground that starred Journey and uh Journey Smollett and Amira Vaughn as her mother, Ernestine. Love Amira Vaughn, by the way. But yeah, Delano played on that, and actually he's married to somebody who is from Baltimore. Her name is DeWanda Wise. She got the really pretty hazel eyes. I think they still married. But yeah, he played on the Underground before this TV show. Underground got canceled after the second season. It was a very good show, and they canceled it. Said that the network was going in another direction, so they canceled it along with some other shows. But back to this Cherish today. So like I was saying, the show is basically, uh, um, side note, We outside with it today because it's so freaking nice. Yes, it's the middle of October at this point, but it's so nice. Like, I got on short sleeves, and this is actually a dress that I have on, with no tights or anything, or just like some Ugg slippers. Yeah, it's nice out here today. So that's why I'm bringing it to you from outside instead of inside. But anyway, Cherish Today is a love anthology, and it just basically shows the growth, the breakdown of love between two people. So wasn't sure it was gonna come back for a second season, but once the pandemic was basically, they declared it to be over and people got back to living and working and everything in Hollywood, they did this second season. So we have the main characters of this season two. I've only watched one episode, so we only gonna talk about episode one. Um, we have Joy Bryant. Most of you know her. She was a model and model turned actress. She played in um, Antoine Fisher opposite Derek Luke. She was his girlfriend in that movie. She played Martin Lawrence's girlfriend in Welcome Home, Roscoe Jenkins. She did have a show on TV that I did not watch. I can't even tell you what the name of it was. Oh, in the first season of Cherish Today, I think that season actually premiered on TV back in 2019. Um, the her character in this show, her name's Sunday. Um, the other main character is his name is Ellis. He's played by I think his name Henry Simmons, if I'm not mistaken, and he's a tall milk chocolate, not even all the way milk chocolate. He is shade lighter than milk chocolate, kind of like a cafe au lait complexion man, tall and lean, muscular with a little bit of leanness to him. But I famously remember him playing in the movie Lackawanna Blues, which was a made-for-network movie. I think Lackawanna Blues came on HBO. But he's been in a lot of other stuff, too. And something went down with him in his personal life, if I'm not mistaken. And then we stopped seeing him in a lot of things. Honestly, this is the first thing I've seen him in since Lackawanna Blues. But I just can't remember what exactly went down with him in his personal life that we haven't seen him in anything really. If somebody remembers what that was, please put it in the comments. But anyway, it's gonna follow the love story between his character Ellis and Joy's character Sunday. So the show starts with, we see somebody in heels walking towards a house, and we see them go into this house, and we see him Ellis cooking breakfast, making breakfast and packing lunches. He has two little girls, two cute little girls. One looks to be about 7, and the other little girl looks to be about middle school age. Then they pan over to a woman, played by Terry Bowen, Lavita Alice Jenkins from the Steve Harvey Show. Um, she's his wife. Her name's Anastasia. She's come to pick the girls up, and they're leaving out to go and I guess take the girls off to school. Um, if I'm not mistaken, the show opens up with the music. The freaking music that they've chosen to put in this show, and the moments that they put it in the show, they doing an excellent job with that as well. Just like another show I watch, that they put the perfect music in at the perfect scene. We hear Tim's Free Mind playing, and then we see the character Sunday. She's in a restaurant making sauces and talking to another chef and some staff. So she's a restaurateur, and she's in Atlanta. She's telling the person that she's leaving in charge what to do, how to run, and she's she really trusts them to run the business while she go home for a second to check in on her dad. Um, so we see her go to the airport. A guy drops her off. They kiss, and he's like, "I'm gonna miss you while I'm gone," and while you're gone and stuff like that. So she flies home to New Orleans. She arrives home. She's in the house with her dad. Her dad, they call him Judge. He's happened to be played by the famous Richard Roundtree, who we most know for playing the original Shaft from the 70s. He's also played in the new Shafts with Samuel L. Jackson. And he was I forgot what his name was. His name Patrick? Yeah, his name was Patrick. He played on Being Mary Jane. He played her father. So anyway, Sunday arrives home. She's talking to him and she's saying something about, taking care of him, making sure he's good and stuff. Because eventually she has plans to move him out to Atlanta with her. And he kind of like got an attitude. He gets up, he walks off. It's another woman sitting there. Her name's Lynette. Now, they never said, so I'm not sure if Lynette is Sunday's sister or if she's just like a really good friend or close friend of the family that looks out for the judge since Sunday doesn't live in the same city or state with them. So, because he said something about Lynette got me, she taking care of me or whatever. Sunday's mother is deceased. He misses his wife. And I'm guessing Sunday believes that her dad is in early onset Alzheimer's or dementia of some sort. He has an issue going on with the plumbing in the house. Lynette said she had tried to take care of it. They're gonna make some calls or whatever. And Sunday was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go do what I need to do to take care of it. So Lynette stays seated. Sunday heads out to the store. She heads to a hardware store. Then we see Ellis's character. He's in the hardware store as well. He has on a whole uniform. Um, we hear the shop clerk, the store clerk, or whatever he is, talking to Sunday, and they walk up to the counter. And as they walk up, she happened to look up and she notices Ellis. And, it's like, wow, for both of them. And then, in the midst of this conversation, them two seeing each other and stuff, we find out it's been 25 years since they've seen each other last. They hug and everything, and the store owner makes fun of Sunday. He says she a DIY. She thinks she gonna be able to fix some plumbing or a pipe based on some video she saw on the internet or whatever, like making fun of her. And he was like, this man's a plumber. He can help you out. And so she said, "Oh, you a plumber?" He like, "Yeah, whatever." So she gets her stuff. The store owner, he takes his time ringing her up and everything, getting her info, and lets her go on her way. So she gets back to the dad's house and she's in the wall. She's looking and she's trying to fix whatever it is behind the toilet. She don't know what she doing. So she ends up reaching out to Ellis to get him to come and take a look at it. And next thing you know, we see him over there. And they are playing Ari Lennox, Chicago Boy. That song is so goddamn sexy, y'all. Mm-mm-mm. That song is sexy. But he ends up having to knock down the wall, going to the wall, and figuring out what the issue was. So he figured it out and he figures it out what the issue is, and I think he was saying that it was something else he needed to go to the store to get to kind of like take care of it. So as Sunday walks him outside and they're talking about it, he mentions that His grandfather taught him plumbing. She mentioned the grandfather. He like the grandfather taught me everything I know and stuff like that. And she was like, well, how much is it for all of this? And he was like, it's you. It's you and your dad. I'm not going, charge you. And she was like, no, no, no. I own a business and I expect to be compensated when I render services. So I'm not going to cheat you. I'm going to pay you for your services. He like, no, you do not have to pay me. She was like, all right, well, you know what? When's the last time you had a snowball? That's how I'll pay for services rendered. I buy you a snowball. He like, cool. So they head to wherever it is that they go buy the snowballs from. As they're going there, they start catching up on what's been going on with the both of them for the last 25 years. So he lets her know, um, in the last 25 years, he got married. He has two little girls. Um, he also, they bring up the high school years because when she got back from the hardware store, she was talking to Lynette and told Lynette that she ran into him at the hardware store. That's a part I left out. My bad. She told Lynette she ran into him, and Lynette brought up how they was like he was her first love, her first everything. Did she feel anything still like an attraction still to him or anything like that? A pang of hurt, that things didn't work out. Like what did it feel like to see him again after all that time? She was like, it was. I mean, I don't know. Like I saw him. I felt no ways. Basically, is what she was saying. Um, to Lynette, and she was like, it's just crazy how you guys ended or whatever. So we learned that them two were the it couple. He was a star basketball player. They had been together for a long time. And she found out he cheated on her. And they were supposed to go to the homecoming dance together. And she didn't show up to the homecoming dance, but he still showed up. She didn't want to show up because she was embarrassed to show her face as the girl who got, she the it girl, she was with the it guy, and to have been cheated on by him. She just felt embarrassed. She didn't want to go show up to the homecoming dance. So as they walking to get the snowballs, they having a conversation and they talking about that, the fact that she didn't show up. And he was like, I still went. She said, but now that I'm older and I learned, I shouldn't have been embarrassed about it. I feel like I should have went and you shouldn't have went, because it was on you what you decided to do to me. And so like he apologized to her for that or whatever. So they get to the snowball place. They order their snowballs. The person is handing them the snowballs, and this other guy come walking up, and Ellis speaks to him. Was like, "Hey, what's up, Fingers?" So Fingers apparently was the high school drum major. And when Sunday turns around, he didn't recognize Sunday at first, but she was like, "You don't remember who it is?" And he was like, "Oh my God, I remember now." So they hug or whatever, and we see Ellis attempts to pay for the snowballs. Sunday's like, "No, remember, I'm paying for this." And she pays for the snowballs. So the money that he took out to pay, he gave to Fingers. Fingers talks about the fact that he's more than just a drum player now. He plays like 8 other instruments. He names all the instruments he plays. And he was like, y'all two was the it couple, the pride of New Orleans. And Archbishop or Curly, 35, 25, whatever the number of the school was, whatever. So they hug them and they're on their way. And he stands in line, orders himself a snowball. And Alice tells him, keep taking care of yourself. But as we can see from what Fingers looks like, Fingers look like his life took a different turn and he's been going through. That's what it looks like to me. Um, Alice and Sunday continued their walk through whatever neighborhood this is. They had to, some different places. They go to a bar. They go somewhere where they could sit and chat, like a coffee shop type of place, and they talk. And he talks about the fact that they go to a bar because they ate oysters and everything. And he talk about, they talk more about what's been going on for the last 25 years of their life. So Alice was explaining to her, he she explains that she tried to look him up online at some point, but she couldn't find him because he's not on social media. And he says that he came to Clark because she left New Orleans and went to Clark Atlanta University, I'm guessing, in Atlanta. And he says he came there looking for her, and her roommate told her that her roommate told him that she was not there. She had gone to Howard University for the weekend to visit with some of her friends that went to Howard. She was like, "Yeah, I saw you that day. I looked out the window, I saw you still look good." And he was like, "You saw me, like, but your friend said," he was like, she said, "I know." She said what I told her to say. And she goes on to explain that the reason she didn't want to come downstairs and actually see him and face him is because, just like Fingers had said, I was Ellis's girl. When I got to Clark Atlanta, I was my own person. And basically, she didn't want to live in the shadows of their relationship anymore and just being identified like a monolith. Like all there is to her is just being the girlfriend of this star basketball player. So he just like, oh, okay, I get it. So he was saying, like, after that happened, he was playing in college. He had a lot of scouts coming to see him play. They was going to recruit him, bring him to the NBA. At some point, he got injured. He tried to play through the injury. After getting rehab, and he tried to still play, but his game was never the same. So, needless to say, he did not get drafted by the NBA, but he did get a contract to play overseas for a while, and he wasn't feeling it. So he ended up coming back home, but when he came back home to the States, he came back home addicted to painkillers. So he fell hard on hard times. And I forgot where he said he was, but he was at his lowest point in his life, and he met Anastasia, his wife. And he was like, I met her, and she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. She saw me as a good man and felt like I could be a good man. So she basically loved me back to life. And so Sunday was like, "Oh, cool, that's wonderful." He was like, "Yeah, we ended up having 2 kids, and when she got pregnant with baby number, my first daughter, um, she wanted to get married, so we went on and got married and everything." He said, and things was good until they weren't. And now she's soon to be my ex-wife. So Sunday was like, "Oh wow, like, okay." So how did she end up, you know, getting to the place where she was going to become the ex-wife? He explains, after I after she loved me back to life, I got myself together, and I knew I wanted to be a good man to my and raise my kid, and I wanted to be a good father. Um, I became a plumber, and I did everything right. And she decided that she wanted to live her life dream of becoming a singer. He said, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna hold that family down, I'm gonna hold the house down while you go and live your best dream. I'm not gonna hold you back. So he said she went on like a little indie tour, And after being out on tour for some months, she came home and told him she was in love with her road manager. And Sunday, like, wow, she cheated on you? And he was like, yep, karma, right? And she was like, I didn't say it, you did. So he was like, yeah. She said, so like, was like y'all good now? He was like, yeah, we're in a good place now. We cool now. But we are heading for a divorce. He was like, so what about you? Did you never get married? Like ever get married or anything? And she was just like, no, I never found the person that I felt that I couldn't live without. And I was like, where did I hear that line before? I know I heard that in another movie, video, TV show, that I never found a person that I couldn't live without. That line exactly. I heard it somewhere, but I just can't think of where I heard it. If y'all know, put it in the comments. So she asked him, so like she said she was dating, she got somebody she's seeing or whatever. She asked him, so have you dated anybody, since y'all split up or whatever, since it all happened? So he was saying, basically, yeah, I was whoremongering, at the beginning. Out of hurt, I was whoremongering, but those women, they would never hurt, and they couldn't make up for the fact that I was hurting. So I decided to chill out and, focus on me and getting myself together and healing. And she also mentioned, like, I know you had a bunch of groupies, when you was the big shot basketball guy or whatever. And he was like, yeah, but none of those women were ever you. And she was just like, okay. So he was like, it's getting kind of late. You need to go home. Or I forget who said it, her or him. And they was like, no, we can go somewhere else to sit. I mean, go somewhere else. We ain't got to rush. So that's when they go somewhere and we hear they walking and they hear a second line. So they pull up to a second line and then get to dancing and having a good time. Next thing you know, we see them in the car. Um, they going home. He taking her home to her dad's. And she mentions that, she want her dad to move to Atlanta. She was just there to check on him and everything and fix what needs to be. Because he's supposed to be fixing the house up so that they can put it on the market for sale. And he don't want to leave his house. He don't want to leave his home because his wife is buried there or whatever. So, they pull up to the house. Daddy's car's not there. So she runs inside, and then we see him coming in from the out back. He was like, he not out back, and the door was open and everything. He not in here. So she calls Lynette and was like, do you have any idea where he would go? And she like, we're gonna go drive around and see if we can find him. So they go driving, they get in his car, they driving or whatever. And he was like, you have any idea where he would go to? And she was like, no. But he knows New Orleans like the back of his hand. So it's no telling where he is. So they driving. We hear, he tells her, I'm here. I can be here all night with you, helping you try to find where your father is if you need me. So we hear ambulance, and I get nervous because that's what she was like, slow down, pull up right here. And I'm like, oh God, something that happened. But the ambulance was just in the background. They pull up. She said slow down because she recognizes his car. He's sitting on the steps of the barbershop. And he did mention, do you think he went to the barbershop? He's sitting on the steps with some yellow flowers, a whole suit on. And he says that he was on his way to see Miss Varney. And he got turned around somehow. Because he can't leave without saying goodbye to Miss Varney. Because, that's the love of his life. He loved her. And he don't want to leave her. He don't want to leave New Orleans and leave Miss Varney behind. And she looks at him and she said, Daddy, Mama would be okay. Basically, Mama's okay. Mama would be okay with you leaving. And I would never tell you to leave and not say goodbye to mama. And she said, come on so we can get you home. He like, no, I ain't going nowhere with you. So he having one of those moments or whatever. Because they can get hostile or whatever. When they get to a place in their mind that they feel like somebody pushing them to do something that they don't want to do at the moment. Or if they don't recognize you and stuff. I've been told that they can get really violent. But that's when Ellis sits down next to him and said, you know, Judge, you remember this time? And he was like, you helped me on my worst day. And it's all right that you feel the way you feel. Because he feels a bit embarrassed about the fact that he got turned all around. He lost his memory just that fast. So he was, Ellis goes into this story about how he was at one point in his life, he was at his lowest moment. He was already married to Anastasia. The first baby was on her way. And he was feeling real low. So he was hanging out in front of some store with his friends. And the judge pulled up and seen him as he was headed to go inside whatever store this was. He said, and you saw me, you looked at me, and you nodded your head, you went in the store, you came back out with some water and a sandwich. And you looked at me and you told me, come on, come get in the car and take a ride with me real quick. He said, and I got in the car with you, and you pulled the visor down and you told me to look in that mirror and look at myself. And you told me that I was a good man. And to basically look in the mirror at how I'm looking now. And is that the person that I want to be for my daughter? And he was like, I always admired the father you were to Sunday. And I wanted my daughter to love me the way Sunday loves you. And I vowed, I looked at myself for a long time in that mirror that day. And I vowed that I was going to do everything I can do to be the best man and father I could be, so my daughter can grow up to love me as much as Sunday loved you. And you did that for me. And Sunday is standing there looking at them because she's never heard this story. She doesn't know anything about this occurrence, this thing. And at some point when him and Sunday was in the oyster bar talking, they were saying that, you know, people come into your life, basically the whole thing. People come into your life at the perfect time, sometimes for a season, sometimes for a reason. And we never know which is which until things play out. And he mentioned that to the judge, like, that day you was there for me for a reason, to help build me up and help me to get myself back on track so I can go and do what I needed to do to be the perfect father for my daughter. So at this point, he said, come on, you know, I always admired that Jaguar you had, and I always wanted a chance to drive it. You think I could drive you home, Judge? And he was like, yeah, you could drive me home. I was like, wow. So he gets in the car. So she drives his truck. Sunday drives Ellis's truck, I'm guessing. And Ellis drives her father in the Jaguar. So they get to the house. They put him inside. And she comes back out onto the porch. She tells him, thank you for everything, you know, for that whole day. Thank you. Helping her find her father, doing the work and everything. She really appreciates him. And she hopes that another 25 years don't go by without them at least acknowledging or speaking to one another. And he comes in close. They hug each other. And he tells her, you know, he really appreciated today. It was a really good day. And it was nice seeing each other and all that kind of stuff and catching up basically about what's going on, what's been happening in each other's lives. And basically that they're not going to go that long without speaking again. So he goes on, he leaves. We see her go in the house. Next thing you know, we see her on the couch with her dad, laying next to her, asleep with a blanket on him. She calls Lynette. She lets Lynette know that they got him, that they back home, he fine. And she tells Lynette it worried her because the fact that he got turned around, she like something going on with Daddy that I'm not sure of. And basically, she wanted to get him tested and stuff like that to see what's going on with his health and all that kind of stuff like that. And Lynette agrees that she should do those things. They hang up. We see Ellis on his couch with his daughters. He has one child on each side of him. They wrapped up in their blankets asleep. He's watching the TV and his phone chimes. He looks. It's a message from Sunday, and she's texting him once again, thanking him for helping her find her dad, and just for the whole day. Like she really had a good time. It was a nice day, or whatever. And then the episode goes off. Um, that scene where they were on the porch saying their goodbyes for the night, they played Snow Allegra, I Want You Around. And I was like, another perfect song for another perfect moment. This show, the first season was good, and the way this started off, I'm feeling like this season going to be just as good. I'm going to go watch the second episode and come back to you guys with a recap review for that as well. This show airs on Tuesday nights after Queen Sugar. Y'all, can y'all believe this is the final season of Queen Sugar? And we already done watched like the first 6 or 7 episodes, which means we only have like 3 episodes left. Because Queen Sugar usually only do about 10 to 12 episodes. Yeah, I can't believe we at the end. But this was good. I hope y'all enjoyed this recap of season 2, episode 1, Cherish the Days. Not Cherish the Days, it's Cherish the Day. Starring Henry Simmons and Joy Bryant this season. I hope y'all, like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed this review. Get in the comments if you are watching this, if you plan to watch it. And let's just talk about this first episode. I see y'all in my next video. And I appreciate you watching this. Please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe if you haven't. I appreciate y'all. I can't say it enough. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.